And just like that, the boys are back. Fusion Section 400, Matt Jack and Brian bringing you along for the midweek show. Happy Wednesday or happy Thursday. The week is officially more than halfway over. Excited for the weekend, but we got an action-packed show to bring for you guys. The NFL Combine is here. We saw some NFL coaches and GM interviews arise. Jack's very young GM was on display.
Very young.
Very young GM was on display. We'll get into a little bit of that as we roll here. Some trade rumors are emerging. Are the Giants going to go veteran quarterback? Are they going to draft a QB? Are they going to do both? We'll get into what Joe Schmo had to say up at his presser. And some other stories there to wrap around the NFL. That season, or that offseason, that league never sleeps. College basketball is ramping up. We'll get into some bracketology talk. The NBA is still around. I got a cool little funny story we can jump into as well. It's the winners and losers week. We'll see what the boys got for who won the week, who lost the week, and we continue with our 6 divisions in 3 weeks. I think I got that right. It's the AL West. The stink of the MLB? I don't know. We'll see if it's the worst division, or at least predict it. It all happens next after this word from SeatGeek.
The calendar is flipped to 2025, and that means one thing. The sports action is heating up, and the best place to go to get tickets to playoff football, meaningful basketball games, and maybe some baseball soon is SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Views from Section 400 podcast. Whether you're going to watch some Auburn Tigers play at Neville Arena, best team in college basketball, if you want to see the Birds probably choke in the playoffs at the Link, or maybe you want to buy some early spring training tickets for the spring, SeatGeek is the best place to go. Their one-of-a-kind platform makes finding the best deals easy. Use our code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout. You get $20 off your first purchase. That's a free beer and maybe some crab fries, maybe a hot dog on us. It's a great deal. Use our code. SeatGeek, your best night ever is waiting.
So as I discussed, the NFL Combine is pretty much here. Our guy Jack, who's on the show, as always, gave a little blog about the GM. So you might want to check that out over on viewsfromsection400.com. But the GM of the Jaguars, again, Brian and I last episode, and this wasn't ripping on Jack as we usually do for the team down there in Jacksonville, but I had no idea who this guy was. I literally couldn't pick him out if he lined up 10 GMs probably. And, you know, I thought he was 18 years old. I thought it was a joke for a second, but they have their new guy. They're going for, you know, these franchises went for a young coach, go for the youngest coach, go for the young mind. This is the first time in, I think, NFL history that we've seen a GM this young. And I know you're like super high promise, Jack, and you kind of have to because it's your team, but I would be a little nervous, man. That guy, I don't know. I don't know that I would feel super confident with that guy leading the charge. And I don't know.
Look, you can't make up experience, right? Experience, no. You either have it or you don't. But, you know, for the record, what this guy's experience is, you know, what Liam Cohen and this organization, Shad, have done here. You know, Liam Cohen was under Sean McVay, and I don't need to tell you guys, if you're listening to this, you know how good Sean McVay is as a coach. He was under Sean McVay. He went to Tampa, did it there, was awesome with Tampa last year, really made that offense very explosive. You want to talk about the offensive coordinator, Grant, he's coming in from Kevin O'Connell's system in Minnesota. We saw what he was able to do there this past year with frickin' Sam Darnold.
This 18-year-old didn't hire any of those people, though.
Brian, I'm not even on the 18-year-old.
Well, that's what we're talking about. I think Cohen's going to be fine.
I'm talking about the front office. Let me finish.
They're not in the front office. Those are coaches.
The office, buddy. Like, look, the non-players, the essential personnel that are going to be running this football team. Like, you want me to use these right terminology, Brian.
I mean,
Stop
no,
it.
I'm not. I'm just saying. I think your coaching staff's good. I'm a little worried about your general manager. That doesn't seem like he can grow facial hair.
Okay, well then let me get to him. He's been with the Rams for the past 9 years. Again, another guy that's been working with Sean McVay. 9 years. Okay? What has he done in, let's just think about the Rams organization over the past 9 years as far as, GM and players they've gotten. We're talking about the defensive rookie of the year last year in Jared Verse. Okay? We're talking about Puka Nakua, who set the rookie receiving yards record. What did he draft him in the 6th round? Like, look,
Yeah, might have been fourth.
and I'm
But
not
This
either
gonna
way,
isn't no. This isn't a shot at you
and,
or the
and
GM. Where was he? Hold on, I'll let you continue. I'll give you your spot to shine. Where was the Jags' new 34-year-old, and that's not an exaggeration, 34-year-old GM in the ranking pool in the room? Like, where was he in this decision making process of drafting a Jared Verse, of drafting a Puka Nakua? Where did he rank in that decision making? And maybe we can give him a little bit more street cred. But
and,
like this, he wasn't calling the shots on making those decisions.
absolutely. And I was literally just gonna say that. Like, I'm not sitting here telling you that he was the standing GM making the final calls. We know Sean McVay has a ton of say on what goes on there, regardless of who the GM is.
And the
So
actual GM does too. Like,
Right, of course, that's what I'm saying. He wasn't the standing GM, but what he was assistant to the GM, and he was also, the head of player scouting or whatever the official title is there. Again, Brian, I'm not getting too
is
specific,
it
but head
assistant
of,
GM or assistant to the GM?
assistant to the GM
Is this
sounds
with
like
the
the
White
guy who
Shroot
grabs the
situation?
coffee.
I don't know if you really, I don't care. So let me just answer that. I don't care if it was assistant GM, assistant to the GM. He's been in the Rams organization for 9 years. He was a part of the process that took players like Puka and Jared Verse, and I am very excited for this man. Now, I know that you guys haven't seen a lick of him because he didn't have a cringy Duval for everybody, so he didn't make the national media. But this
I mean, I
man,
saw the interview. I saw the
I,
interview.
I am very excited. Look, this is what I'm most excited for.
If Howie Roseman
Him,
calls on draft night, are you worried?
well,
Are
dude,
you
Howie's a
confident
shark.
that you're 34? I know. I
Howie's
Probably
a
any of the
shark. I'm
GMs
not
wouldn't be able
gonna
to handle that guy.
look.
But
I'm not
any
gonna.
GM calls your new guy up, are you confident that he's going to compose himself as a 34-year-old and be able to,
I
like I
am
said,
that.
keep
I
keep the
am that.
cool?
I am, and for this reason, the what's been talked about over and over and over again in these pressers is uh, our all of our coaches. I don't want to use improper terminology, so let me hold on a sec. All of our coaches, our new coaches, and our new GM are
Very young.
very aligned. They're all very young, sure, but they're very aligned. They're very hungry, and they all want to make a name for themselves and prove to the rest of the league, yo, we're like that. And how do you do that? You win. So yes, I am very excited for this. We don't have a Coughlin or a Doug Marone or a Doug Peterson or an Urban Meyer, one of these old sacks who don't come in with new energy, new ideas. I am pumped. These guys are young, they're hungry, and look, from everything I've heard, Liam Cohen, he was just under Sean McVay. He might be the next Sean McVay. All right. James Gladstone was just under Sean McVay. He might be an awesome GM who can win us a Super Bowl, just like what happened in LA.
I'm happy for you. It seems like you have a front office that's going the right direction, and I guess you've started the weekend early because you're so excited for this front office.
I'm going to Nashville tomorrow.
There you go. What I am like, I think my issue with the Gladstone thing and why it turned into something, if you're gonna go up there, at least like have him grow a little bit of stubble on his face, or have him show up in a suit or something that doesn't make him look like this college kid. Like he showed up in a polo and the shaven face. He looked like he was in college. He looked like 20 years old. I don't know. Dress him up. You should have PR people that are like dress you up, make you look professional. You're the
Make
general
you look
manager
a
of a
lot more.
franchise.
Look,
There's
Brian,
only 32 of them that exist in the National Football League.
I get that. It's a big deal. Maybe wear a suit, look polished. Sure, I get that. But at the same time, I don't care. I don't care. And that's one of the beauties about this. Like, no one cares about how young he is. No one cares what he looks like as Jaguars fans. I'll tell you, nobody gives a crap what he looks like at all. How young he is, how many years of experience he has. If he's going to show up and win us football games, that is all we care about. So right now, we can go back and forth about his looks, his age. At the same time, at the end of the day, it's just not going to matter until we see what happens on the football field.
I just think someone has to care, and that someone is the people that are putting him out there to talk. Make him look presentable.
I agree. Like, experience is experience. You can't really teach it, right? It just has to happen on its own. And that would make me a little worried. Like, 34-year-old GM, first-time head coach Cohen, 28-year-old offensive coordinator. It's almost too young. But look, they may be in front of the trend and trying to get ahead of the curve. And these super young, fresh ideas shock the NFL. I don't see it happening, and I think teams will figure it out. But hey, man, best of luck.
Thank you. And just to finish it off, I understand what you guys are saying. Like, this could absolutely be a disaster with how young they are. Maybe they're just not ready for this spotlight. But trial by fire, they have everything that they need. We have, James Gladstone said in a presser the other day, we have the most draft picks of any NFL team over the next 2 years, and he plans to build this team through the draft. And one of the things that really excites me about him as a GM, what he was when he was over with the Rams over there, we saw them go absolutely all in, grabbing Stafford and Jalen Ramsey and making this a Super Bowl team, and they accomplished that goal. And then we also saw him unload everybody. Aaron Donald retires. They go and draft Jared Verse and Fisk and all this young defensive talent, Puka Nacua to go along with the remaining pieces from that Super Bowl team, Stafford and Kupp, and they still made the playoffs this year. Like, and those rookies shined on their way to the playoffs. Like, it was very, again, as a Jaguars fan, that's, I think, the thing that I don't care about. I don't care that they're young. They're coming from systems in, Sean McVay and Kevin O'Connell that I believe in and I trust and I've seen work. So I'm just excited, man. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you'd take a Super Bowl. I think you'd take the arc the Rams are on, but we keep trying to talking about this when we talk about Stafford. Like, yeah, they made the playoffs last year, but they didn't have a chance to win a Super Bowl. And now we're kind of seeing them without all these draft picks and kind of having to rebuild. And yeah, they have those rookies, but they kind of sold their souls for that Super Bowl. And like, they won it, but it's still hard to win it, and they did. But would you take that as this regime? Like,
first of all, yes,
anybody, especially not ever having the Super Bowl, would always take the Super Bowl.
Right there. We don't have a Super Bowl, so yes, I would do anything to get one, Brian. But also, like I don't think you're realizing the position that the Rams are in right now. Like, yeah, maybe they didn't have the best chance to win the Super Bowl last year, but they were a playoff team. They were dangerous with the team that they had. Their defense had like an insane amount of sacks in the playoffs. And then, we see what they're doing right now. I know James Gladstone's no longer in the building, but it wasn't too long ago he was just there, and look what they're doing now. They're about to. I finally, understand the whole Stafford and Kupp. Getting Rodgers and Devontae Adams. Like, it makes sense to me now, and that might be a move that's likely going to be pulled off this offseason. I think we're going to talk about that soon.
And I think with the Rams, what we saw this past season is their absolute best ceiling, going into Philadelphia and keeping it close until the fourth quarter. Like, I don't think we'll see them take a step. If anything, it's going to come back next year. So,
that's the issue. That's why
that's what I'm saying. You see, like, if that's what you're cool with, getting the Super Bowl and then get 4 years removed from that Super Bowl win, like that being your ceiling, and if you have to restart, you can, but it's really tough to plug in place and generate draft capital.
Again, I'm not seeing. I think you guys are too down on the Rams. Like, yeah, they did hit their ceiling last year. They absolutely hit their ceiling last year.
Like, maybe a little bit more.
But why can't they be even better this year? They have a whole offseason. They're about to allegedly unload Stafford and Kupp and get Rodgers and Devontae Adams. What do you mean they can't be better this year?
I don't think they're better than with Rodgers and Devontae Adams. I don't think they're a Super Bowl winning team, and they're putting a Band-Aid. They're like the Rams are the Giants with success. There's no direction. They're trying to
Brian,
put Band-Aids.
don't try to compare your team to the Rams right now.
Just bear with me. The Giants and the Giants are stuck in this thing where they won't rebuild. They keep trying to fix it because Dable and Joe Schmo want to keep their jobs and they think they can just be successful year to year. That's what the Rams are doing. There's no direction with that team. They don't have a quarterback that they're gonna even try to get Stafford or Aaron Rodgers or anyone to try to mentor. They don't have young guys. They have Jared Verse, yes, but like there's no star. There's Puka Nacua. Kyron Williams is a not a good back of the future. They need a new running back. Their O line's old. They're old. They don't know. There's no rebuild direction there.
There is. All right, look, I think we're going to agree to disagree right now. But what I will say to you guys and to everybody listening, let's see what they do in the draft, in free agency, this offseason, who they acquire, who leaves, and then let's see how they do next year. I fully believe that if they were to get Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, they will be a playoff team next year, yet again.
But why are you confident in Aaron Rodgers? He's been bad.
Yes, Brian, he has been bad for the past few seasons on a Jets team who has literally made everybody look bad for the past 2 decades. So, sure, some of that was on Rodgers. I'm not going to not hold him accountable, but some of it wasn't. And I think that him working with Sean McVay versus Robert Salah and then Nathaniel Hackett and whoever the hell else they had in Jetland. Look, it's Sean McVay. It's a whole nother story. Like, I just think we need to give the Rams a chance here. Like, I don't know why we're hating on them. Like, they won a Super Bowl a few years ago.
I'm not hating on the Rams.
It's a half decade.
This direction was not supposed to go into a Rams rebuild. It's on the Jaguars' new GM. And my final thought is, and Jack, I know you're drinking, so don't take it the wrong way, but it's what do the Jags have to lose, right? I don't want to say it's rock bottom, but it's hire all the young minds and see what happens. That's kind of what I got from that. So we can move on from the Jaguars talk, but that's my final thought.
Absolutely, and you're absolutely right. This, like I said, this could absolutely blow up. But this is also what Trevor wanted. Trevor made it vocal that he wanted a young, offensive-minded coach, and we got that. So, and look, regardless of what Brian wants to say or anybody wants you to believe, he's not going to Pittsburgh. He is the face of our franchise. He's not going to Pittsburgh. He is a damn good quarterback, and we're going to build around him. And this is what he wanted. So yeah, I mean, look. If everything comes crumbling down, maybe we can point fingers at the new regime. Maybe we can point it at Trevor. But when it's all over, if it ends up being horrible, we can wash the slate. We really can. We don't have a Dable who is actually like a proven coach that we need to have stick around. We are pretty free right now. I agree with you, Matt.
Why do you have to pick Dable out of all those people?
Because look at the Giants.
I'm rooting for the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are doing the right thing. All right. My issue with this whole GM nonsense is they didn't prep him well to come off as a respectable general manager. And that's why he went viral.
Yell at the PR team, Brian.
That's what I'm doing. That is what I'm doing.
Don't tell me we have a bad team. Don't tell me he's too young.
Look, yeah, again, we can go. We might have to set up a separate show just following Jaguar offseason talk. We'll have our own version of Hard Knocks on the Jaguars from Section 400. But we do have to jump into a little bit of Giant talk. I know we went on an extended run right there about the GM for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but the GM of the New York Football Giants was on display. Got asked about Saquon. Totally deflected the question. We don't have to get into that. Tough look there. But, he was asked about the quarterback, and I guess it was just a 50-50 answer, right? Said, hey, we might get a veteran quarterback. Hey, we might draft one. Hey, we might do both. So, Brian, I guess kind of your thoughts to that. Did you see what he said? And I mean, if I were a Giant fan, and I'm so glad I'm not, I would, be even more furious than I would have been 2 weeks ago before he had another press conference. You want to talk about PR teams, hide that guy from the public. I know you can't, but that guy should not be talking.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of just summed up my feelings about the Giants. I don't care. until this guy leaves, like they're not going in any direction. They've been perpetually trying to win with a terrible roster for the last 4 years since they made the playoffs. It just doesn't work. And until they just go away and decide to rebuild and sell off everybody and just give them 3 years in the shadows and go in a direction, I don't care about the Giants. It sucks. They suck. There's no reason for me to care until you hire a guy that's going to make me care. Like a 34-year-old GM, that would make me care. I might hate it, but it would make me care. Do something.
Yeah, Brian. It's look.
Yeah,
you want to hate on my GM? You got Joe Schmo. That's all I gotta say.
And about the Saquon thing, like I don't blame him for not answering the question. Like it's gone. He won a Super Bowl. Like what do you want him to say? He fucked up. He knew, and
I think knew. I jabbed the reporters. I think they could have really drove a little deeper and kept the pressure on and really trapped the guy in a corner. But for some reason, and you really never see it, the reporters actually cut the guy a break and kind of stop that line of questioning.
Yeah, I think it's like a dead horse. Like he won a Super Bowl. He almost set the rushing record. Like you messed up by letting him go. Everybody knew you messed up.
Yeah, there's never been, and there is no real answer, and he doesn't even have one. But there's never been a situation like that since all that happening. Right? We have the video of him in the office. We have little press conference, but there was never. This is the first time since after the rushing record, the Super Bowl, like where he could have been asked those questions and then asked why. Daniel Jones over Saquon after everything we've seen, and I don't think anybody asked that question, and I think they should have asked.
He said it right after he extended Daniel Jones, and that was what kind of created the whole
right. But I want to hear the reasoning now after Saquon won it.
It's going to be the same thing. It's just incompetent.
Yeah, but I just need the question asked.
He valued a bad quarterback because he was a quarterback more than he valued one of the best running backs of all time.
Yeah, I think that's true. Okay.
I think that's a very accurate statement.
Combine stuff starts today, so I guess maybe over the weekend show or next week we'll jump into who impressed and who maybe dropped in draft stock. I don't know any trade rumors. Did you have anything else in the NFL, Brian, before we talk a little college hoops?
Yeah. The Colts GM, Chris Ballard, said they're going to bring in a quarterback to compete with Anthony Richardson.
I think that's only right.
What, like, this is again, we talk about the Giants and the Colts have been better, but since Andrew Luck retired, they've gone into seasons with Jacoby Brissett, Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, Gardner Minshew, Joe Flacco. When's that going to, like, at least try to develop.
To be fair, the Wentz one was like him coming off that $120 million contract. Maybe he was still going to be an elite guy. So that was the only one. But all the other ones are
try to start over. They're putting this is.
Well, they did. Wentz was considered elite when they got him. Also, obviously, it didn't work out. But at the time, he was considered to be, face of the franchise, elite quarterback.
Also, Brian, Joe Flacco didn't start last year. Anthony Richardson did.
Yeah, and then they gave up on Anthony Richardson mid-season and put in Joe Flacco. Like, just let Richardson play
like a weird,
he got hurt.
Started Flacco.
No, he took himself out of the game, and then they benched him.
Yeah, that was a weird back and forth they had there. Look, the Colts are kind of doomed. I don't know if they have the same guy running. I feel bad for Shane Steichen because he was a brilliant offensive mind when he was with, I think it was Nick Sirianni. But after all that happened, it just... we'll see what they do. Yeah, Frank Reich was the Doug Peterson disciple, and then Steichen. We got to start talking about Nick Sirianni's coaching tree, man. I mean, this guy is just pumping out NFL head coaches, but we don't have to get into that. But I just find a lot of joy talking about this right now. My team won the Super Bowl, so just talking to you guys about your teams puts a smile on my face.
Yeah, they're trying to ban the tush push. That's the one thing Sirianni's been talking about at the Combine.
They are trying to ban the tush push, and the Packers GM may or may not have been my loser of the week. So we thank Brian for another early spoiler.
Well, you brought up Sirianni.
Well, I just brought up, and he did have an interview. We'll get into that in a little bit. But can we talk some college basketball now before any more spoilers get leaked?
Yes.
Yeah. The last I have on trade rumors. Stafford seems like he's either going to Vegas or the
Stop.
I
Giants.
refuse to talk
Stop.
Ram football anymore. I
Stop.
refuse to talk
I
about
don't
the
want to think
Rams.
about it, Jack. I don't want to even that
Kirk
would be the
Cousins,
dumbest thing they can do.
it would be. Kirk Cousins is staying in Atlanta as the backup to Michael Penix. And the Saints are sticking with Derek Carr. So God bless Saints fans.
Who's their
One more
coach now?
thing. One more thing.
What?
Who's their head coach now? The Saints? Oh, it's Kellen Moore.
Yeah, Kellen Moore.
They're
Yeah.
gonna be so bad.
And Kellen Moore threw a dog a bone and hired Brandon Staley as the D coordinator.
It's gonna be a disaster, dude.
Yeah, I think it could be pretty brutal down there for the Saints. But last thing, Jack brought up Kirk Cousins. Did you guys see that the head coach and the GM had no idea of Kirk's injury down the stretch? Like, remember how he had this like mysterious injury last year down the season?
Yeah.
Yeah, the ribs, right?
They had no idea. There was a
Well,
report that came out that said the coach and GM had no idea of his injury.
I mean, that's surprising to hear. I mean,
It's extremely surprising.
he wasn't moving
Falcons
right.
GM coach unaware of Kirk Cousins' late season injury.
Yeah, that doesn't
I
make
think that's wild.
I know he's the new head coach, Raheem Morris, right?
Mm-hmm.
So give him some credit, but or some slack, I guess. Yeah, give him some slack, I guess. But at the same time, it's your starting quarterback. I don't understand. He must have just been so out on Kirk and wanted Penix to come in that he was like, I don't even know. But I mean, if we're being honest, Kirk wasn't moving right the entire season. Like it took him a few games to come in, like off of the Achilles from the year before, and then the late season injury. I mean, he never looked right all year.
Matt, is that worse than Josh Rojas? Not Josh Rojas. Luis Rojas not knowing where Carlos Carrasco was during his rehab.
I mean, both are pretty bad. And then can you loop in Trey Mason as well when he was hiding in his mom's basement?
Well, they knew where he was at least.
Oh, they did know where he was for that too. No, I mean the Carlos Carrasco one was wild because the Mets signed him to like be, I think, just like a middle of the rotation guy. So I don't know that the hype was as crazy as maybe Kirk Cousins would have been, and the money wasn't nearly the same that they give to Kirk Cousins. But I think at least there was already some precedent of an injury with Kirk. Carlos Carrasco was just like, yeah, we have. Rojas was like, we have no idea what's going on.
I'm more just talking about like front office or coaching.
It's front office incompetence is what it is. It's front office incompetence. So just to your point, yeah, I think they're both equally just really bad.
Luis Rojas and Billy Epler. What a time.
Because it's like, even if you don't know, don't release it. Don't say that you don't know. Like, are you kidding me? Why would you even like mention that you have no idea? It's just when you get paid all this money to do that job, like, that's something you'd expect a high school coach to say. Not, it's a joke, but all right. I just had to get that out there because I thought it was funny that they had no idea. And not to be a dick, but you guys did have that team as the second team in the NFC at one point.
They were at one point. I was still sticking by that. They beat the Eagles
early in the season.
The only team to beat the Eagles when they were fully healthy this year.
Yeah, look, I agree. It's funny stuff. But let's get into some college basketball. My half pick to win it all, Florida Gators went down this week. No, did they go down this weekend?
Yep,
they lost a game. They lost a game, but won a game. Yeah. Okay, that is what happened. To a not very good Georgia team, which was concerning to see. Auburn still looking prime to be the number one overall seed. Obviously, there's four. They're going to be the best one of the four. There's one spot up for grabs of the number one seeds, and I think it's still probably Florida, but Alabama's going to have a strong case if they win out.
Yeah, I just want to say something real quick. Mr. Damon, Mr. Every Florida fan that's been clamoring you're the number one team in the nation. Auburn does not lose to a 4-10 Georgia Bulldogs team that is on the bubble, on the wrong side of the bubble, and needing a win to get into the NCAA tournament. Auburn does not go down by 20 points to a middling SEC team. Auburn has lost one game in the SEC because Florida could not miss from three. They have lost two games overall. The other one to the team that's now for some reason ranked number one in the net. Florida, you've now lost four in the SEC. You lost to Missouri at home. You were also down 20 points in that game. You are not the number one overall team in the conference. You are not even close to the number one overall team in the country. Stop tweeting about it.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah, I was just gonna say in a much
Jack,
lighter...
that would you had a chance to give an all-time War Eagle after Brian's rant, and you just shit the bed.
Oh, get the fuck out of here!
Will, throw in the clip of Matt saying War Eagle after that. That's what I need.
Someone had the chance to say War Eagle. I gave it to Jack. But anyway,
give Brian the credit here. Brian, that is exactly what I wanted to say. To all you Florida fans on Twitter and everywhere coming at me, texting me saying, Florida should be number one, we beat Auburn, blah, blah, blah. You can't lose to shite teams like that. Auburn has lost to Duke and Florida. Some good teams, man. Good teams. We're not losing to Georgia. It's crazy that you think you can be the number one overall team when you lose to Georgia.
Yeah,
they're going to be the 14th seed. The 14th seed in our conference.
There's a difference between thinking and what actually is right. So let them think what they want. I was on the Florida train, and look, they still might make noise in the March Madness, but for what we're talking about here, they're not the number one team in the conference, not the number one team in all of college basketball. They still are a good team and a team that did beat Auburn on the road. So definitely, don't take them lightly. But for your guys' point, they're not.
I got them as a 1 seed when we go to the bracket. I still have them as a 1 seed. But my Lord, to say that they are the number one seed is crazy. We are still on it. We, as in Auburn, are still on the most historic run. And don't you forget about it.
Yeah, I think there's a big, and it might be an SEC problem now because the SEC is good at basketball and they're so used to being football fans. Like, you beating one team that's the best team does not make you. This isn't football. There's not 10 games in the season. This is a resume building sport. And I think it's going to take a while. And Florida's been historically dominant at basketball, so their fans might just be dumb. And they can still make it to the Final Four. They're just not the best team in college basketball this year. And they can still win the national championship and be called the best team in college basketball. But right now, that's Auburn's title.
That's true. And they had a chance to, capitalize on that Auburn win, and they kind of didn't. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. Right now, totally not. I don't know if this is a fair comparison. I think the team I'm about to bring up was better. And I don't know, maybe they did go undefeated, but that 2011 Kentucky team, how do they stack up with this Auburn team? How far off is Auburn from that team? Is this the best team in college basketball that we've seen since that 2011 team?
UConn was pretty damn good last year.
That's also true.
Yeah,
they still dropped some games, though, like more than – I mean, Auburn's looking at, like, a 2, maybe 3 loss overall season here.
Yeah.
I think, what did UConn have last year? Like 5 or 6 losses?
I'm looking it up now. 2014-15, Kentucky was 38-1.
Okay. Is that the team I'm thinking of then?
Yeah, I think that's like Anthony Davis' team was also really good.
Like when you think about those like insane Kentucky teams, like they had a ton of NBA talent. Like you think about those insane Duke teams, and like they have a lot of NBA talent. Like this Auburn team, as good as it is, we don't have a first round pick here. Brian, you think we have a first round pick on our roster?
Some guy will go first round.
Broom will go late first round this year.
You think so?
Yeah, he'll be end of late first round. If Tahad stays and then goes crazy next year, he'll probably he has a chance to be a lottery pick next year.
That's actually a good point. I didn't think about Tahad.
Tahad's going to be the best.
But he's not leaving. He can't leave this year, so. Well, actually,
but just like the Auburn resume this year, just they feel like an all-time type of team. But I guess those teams are still way better that came before them.
Well, if Auburn wins a national championship this year, I would put them in the same category as 2011 Kentucky, 2015 Kentucky, and last year UConn. I think you would say those are the best 4 teams since like 2010. And
what I will say, and I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but what I will say is the SEC during those Kentucky days was not the SEC that is right now. and the Big Ten last year was not the SEC this year. So I think given the strength of the schedule and the competition we played, we have a chance to be in the conversation.
Yeah, those Kentucky teams were also playing those multi-day tournaments, and they were playing good competition before. But I know what you're saying.
I'm not trying to say they played nobody. I'm not looking at their schedule. I'm just saying, given the SEC this season, I feel like we should get a little extra bump.
Yeah, I'm also looking up the year Duke won it with Tatum and Grayson Allen, and who was their third? Brandon Ingram. That team was pretty good. I don't know how many losses they had.
Yeah, and then where did that Zion, RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish Duke team, did they win it all?
No,
They got
that was the
Bell.
year Auburn went to the Final Four. They lost to, or no, they went to the Final. Did they lose to
No, they didn't make it to the
Tech?
Final Four.
I don't know, but that team was like, at least in the regular season, seemed unstoppable and like they weren't going to lose.
Yeah,
And then obviously they did.
I think they got bounced in like the round of 16, Brian. Like I don't think they got that far that year.
No, I remember they barely got by Michigan State. I think that was the Elite Eight.
I think we need to maybe, I don't think we need a full blog on it, but maybe rank like the top 5 college basketball teams of the last 15 years.
So they lost to Michigan State. That was the game I'm thinking of. They lost by 1 in the Elite Eight.
That was the Elite Eight? Okay.
Yeah. They went 25-3.
Ew.
That Duke
Zion
team.
Barrett.
That's it?
Yeah, Zion, RJ, and was it Tyus
Auburn's
Jones?
already 25-2. How'd they not play more games?
Bigger conferences now.
That's true. Yeah, still a good team though. Anything else on college basketball? I still think Florida probably sneaks in as the final 1 seed. Unless that could just be like committee discretion and they pick Alabama. But
I gotta look it up. Michigan State's playing Maryland on the road tonight. If they won that game, they might have a case.
Michigan State just won on a half-court buzzer beater as time expired.
You're kidding.
I swear to God.
Oh, they're
Like
gonna be
5
mad
minutes
tomorrow.
ago.
Okay, yeah, they got a case because they have 5 losses.
That was on the road, dude. At Maryland, the guy literally chucked up a half-court shot. They won 58-55. So Michigan State gets a pretty big road win at the end of the season here.
Yeah, I would definitely put them in the conversation. You'll have to tune in to our next bracketology to find out.
Next Tuesday, see what happens. I guess the other one came out yesterday, but yeah, next Tuesday, views from Section 400. I know Brian teased, at least between Jack and I, to give out some March Madness Cinderellas. I'm not releasing mine yet. I'm not doing that just yet. It's not coming for me. I don't know what'll come out. I have a few brewing. Jack, if you want to release any, Brian, you want to release any? I know you said we could maybe talk about it, Brian. I'm not. No, not
can
getting
save
it from
it.
me yet.
It was more if we needed to fill some time, but we went on about the Rams and the Jaguars for a while.
We did go on about the Rams and the Jaguars for a while. Don't worry. I don't want to release too much on college basketball. I know it's a big topic, but I'm going to save all my juice until we get really into March for that. So apologies if you're looking forward to me go on a huge college basketball rant. You're not quite going to get it just yet. But one NBA story that I thought was pretty funny. It comes with Luka Doncic. I don't know if anybody saw the game last night. The Luka beat his former team. Take it with a grain of salt. No Anthony Davis. Kyrie still had 35 points. Klay Thompson tried his best with 22 points. But yeah, no Anthony Davis. So was it really best on best? No. But there was a report that came out. And this is probably just the Mavericks continuing to leak news to justify them doing this. But yeah, there was something about Luka Doncic always being seen in the public eye, drinking beer, smoking hookah, that whole thing. And yeah, there was, it basically said the Mavs didn't like that Luka had a taste for beer, was smoking a lot of hookah, was doing it in the public eye. And so they said that they foresee his future over the next 5 years to take a massive decline. So they're getting out in front and cashing in before it happened. I think the best thing or the funniest thing that came out of it is now his new nickname is Hookah Doncic.
Nico
Look,
Harrison just looks dumber
That
every
report
time.
came out yesterday or a day ago. So
Every time he opens his mouth. He's a European. You didn't foresee this when they drafted him? Or they
yeah, I
traded
mean,
for
this
him?
guy was drinking beers when he was 12.
yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. You say whatever you want, like whatever, dude. He's not even on your team anymore. Quit having to. You don't have to justify it anymore. Like we all think you're stupid. There's really nothing you're gonna say that is gonna turn this around. So,
I don't know, smoking every day. I mean, dude, that you think that catches up to him?
well, if it's true, sure, yeah,
Well, we
absolutely.
know it's
But
true. There's videos on the internet of him smoking hookah at bars.
yeah, look, I think
If it's every day, I guess
honestly,
that we don't know.
I don't think he's smoking hookah
I
every day.
think I may have smoked hookah at a bar before. I've certainly drank beer numerous times at a bar before. I'm doing it right now. But like to the point where, and I get these guys, he's an NBA player, he's got to keep his body in shape, but like to the point where Luka Doncic isn't going to be like a superstar. I mean, and I saw another report, from people that are supporting Luka and what the Lakers did. Like, so you're telling me that he's addicted to hookah and drinking beer, and he's still like the second best player in the NBA behind Jokic? Like,
Yeah,
okay,
I
like
don't know.
what? Imagine if we get him to cut back on the hookah and the beer. Like there's that argument too. It's stupid. It doesn't matter what they say.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Also, if there's one person in all sports that can teach you how to take care of your body, it's the guy that's dropping 40 points a night at 40 years old.
Yeah, so definitely has the right thing. Yeah, I mean, like you said, drinking beer, smoking hookah, and Luka had a triple double, and most importantly, the Lakers beat the Mavericks. So, just thought it was. My takeaway was Hookah Doncic. I think that nickname is ridiculous,
That is a good one.
but yeah, that's all I had on the NBA. I know Brian's usually our NBA story guy. Did you have anything, Brian, before we get into the premier segment of winners and losers?
Yeah, I did have one. I thought this would be your NBA story. Paul George is taking a break from his podcasting to focus on winning a championship.
Well, it's not going to be this year, so I don't know why he decided to make that announcement now, as I believe they're down 20 to the Knicks last time I checked. So
Yeah.
it's not going to be this year. The Sixers are 2 games out of a play-in spot, which I don't think they should go for. I think they need to tank and give themselves the absolute best shot. Maybe not number one pick in Cooper Flag, but if they get the lottery pick inside the top six, they get to keep that pick. Anything outside of the top six goes to OKC. So, how tragic would it be if the Sixers get the seventh pick and the Oklahoma City Thunder have the seventh pick in the upcoming draft after maybe potentially winning an NBA championship?
Yeah, that would be insane. But also, I would just be so pissed if Philadelphia got Cooper Flag and wasted his career there.
They're not
I
going to.
mean, I look if the Sixers are in the running and it's close, the NBA absolutely could rig it so that he goes there. He would have an immediate shot to win and be great.
The Sixers and the Bulls are both trying to
Cooper
tank,
Flag and
and they
Tyrese
can't
Maxey,
tank.
you're going to tell me he's wasting his career there, Jack? No.
Look, man,
They're,
If he
we
went
saw
to
what happened with
Charlotte, he'd be wasting his career.
the process, man. I just don't have a lot of faith in Philly right now.
I don't either. They need to take a page out of the Jags book and get a whole new front office,
Embiid apparently
Well,
needs to get a
coaches,
whole new knee bone.
coaches.
coaches, the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, the Sixers don't even bother me. We just won a Super Bowl. I could give two shits about Philadelphia 76er basketball. Although I think if they get that top six pick, that would be fun to at least watch the draft, which is already not really a big spectacle for anybody. But anyway, we don't have to go down. We're not doing Sixer rabbit holes. Why don't we get into some winners and losers of the week? It's the winners and losers of the week. Viewership section 400 here. Usually kick it over to the guys. Jack, who won the week for you?
Yeah, I am very glad that this didn't get stolen during our NFL talk, but there is a lot of talk coming out of Combine camp about how touchbacks on kickoffs are going to get moved out to the 35-yard line. Now, this is not a confirmed rule change yet, but it seems like it is very likely to happen. The goal is to obviously incentivize more returns. Stop kicking it through the back of the end zone. 35 is a little closer than the 25, so maybe the kickers will put it in play more, and we'll see more returns, and it'll be more exciting again because kickoffs were shite last year.
For a league that does so much right, the NFL can be so dumb.
You don't like this, Brian?
Why are they so they're like, how do I articulate this? They're like creating problems that don't exist.
Just go back.
Leave it as it is.
Yeah,
There's
just
no
go
reason
back.
to continue to fix and do this whole thing.
Go back to the original kickoff and say you don't
leave
care
it
about
alone.
player safety, or get rid of kickoffs and just start the drive on the 30-yard line.
Right. Like they keep having this ongoing conversation about revolutionizing and modernizing special teams and kickoffs and kickoff. Like I'm so fed up with it. Just put them on the 20-yard line and say go.
It's so dumb.
It's so dumb.
So you guys are more just done with the whole conversation. You're like, it's black and white. This is stupid. Let's just start on the 20, 25-yard line every time.
It doesn't need to happen.
Everything they do contradicts each other. They're like, all right, let's make it the close so it's player safety. And now it's, okay, let's have more returns instead of let's just have touchbacks where it's not. So now you're going to risk more injuries. It's just.
Well, sure, yes, okay. The entire reason they switched it to make the players all closer is to limit injuries, reduce concussions. It's a huge problem in the NFL, in case you guys haven't heard. So what the goal is here is, obviously we don't want to go back to the old form where we're just going to throw all the player safety stuff we've accomplished out the window, but we also don't want to make this like the most stupid ritualistic play where it's the same thing every single time. They've won some.
It already is. This past year was them just kicking it out of the end zone.
Right, which is why they might be moving it to the 35 and incentivizing teams to stop kicking it out the back of the end zone.
Like, I think
they're still going to do it. They're still going to do it.
Dude,
you think teams are just going to be like, all right, whatever, start at the 35?
Yeah.
I guess time will tell, and obviously the analytics will tell. But I would think that the 35 is enough room where you could, as a kicker, try and place it within the 35 to the end zone, and
they're going to have the landing zone and this and that, dude.
Yeah, and it's like
a whole different game.
Yeah, you have to chip it, and you're going to chip it to like the 15, and the runner's going to get to the 30 anyway. So why is a team going to tell its kicker to risk the player injuries because you have a play you don't need?
The real whole different game is to get rid of kickoffs and special teams completely. Like, that's what you guys are saying right now. That would be terrible to get rid of special teams.
You can still punt. You still have the special teams on punt.
You still kick field goals.
And field goals. You still have room for the special teams unit to be there. It's the same guys on punt return as it is kickoff return, and punt block as it is kick.
So you guys want to abolish the kickoff?
If they keep messing with it like this,
if it continues to be a headline, ongoing voting on rules, it just I don't care anymore.
It's not an entertaining play with them all close.
Yeah. And do we still get where a team scores, kick the field, extra point, we go to commercial, kick off, go to commercial, then the drive starts? Like, that's also plays into this of just like infuriating, like just start them on the 20 after the extra point, and then boom, drive starts on the 20.
Yeah, what they need to do is instead of the onside kicks that don't work anymore, have it be like 4th and 30, and if you convert that, you get an onside kick. And then maybe you have a play on your own 10 where if you get a first down, you start at 35. If the defense stops
and if you want to run an onside kick, you tell them, hey, we were doing an onside kick. And then they can,
you guys
can
like
trot them out
all
there.
Of these like gimmicky alternatives. Like when you started this by saying, stop changing it. It's so stupid. Just leave it how it was. Like,
well, that's what they're doing.
Pick a side.
Yeah, if you're going to go down the rabbit hole, at least make it entertaining. This isn't entertaining. It's not working. So either get rid of it or do something completely ridiculous.
Jack, what are you saying they should do?
What I am saying.
What would you like?
Is Brian, you are right. It is not working. So what are they doing? They're about to make a change to try and make it work.
But even when it was kicked, I don't think the guys lining up 10 yards across from each other is entertaining.
They already tried too. Like, didn't they move it from the 20 to the 25 in an attempt to fix it?
Yeah,
and now
it's
35
just the returner running into a wall.
Totally ridiculous.
Yeah, I guess like I understand you guys are saying you're tired of the rule changes, just fucking get rid of it. Well, guess what? They're not going to get rid of it for the reason you said. They're not getting rid of that extra ad spot, all those commercials. It's just not happening. This is still the entertainment business, so you might as well make it better. And I don't know why you guys are hating so much right now. You guys are all complaining. You guys are complaining about how they just kick it through the back of the end zone every time.
I
And
don't mind it.
this might be a solution to that. That's why it's my win of the week. We might get better kickoffs. Am I waving the magic wand to say it's perfect now? No, but it might be a little bit better, guys. Let's have some faith.
I don't think it will be.
If it's a little bit better, I'll take it, sure. But I'm sick of the Pro Bowl, getting mad about the Pro Bowl, sick of getting mad about NBA All-Star Weekend. I'm sick about like the NFL product is fine and good enough for me to worry about where they're doing kickoffs and kickoff returns.
I would probably say the same thing if my team just won a Super Bowl.
That too. I mean, I don't need to worry about this problem. Brian, your winner of the week, please.
I apologize in advance. My winner of the week is SEC burner accounts.
SEC burner accounts?
Yeah. Last night I logged into
Does
Twitter.
this have a Florida twist on it again?
No, it's an Ole Miss twist, but it's not the Ole Miss twist you're thinking of. I logged into Twitter last night, and apparently there's this woman that slept with her boyfriend's dad, and the pledge classes went crazy on Twitter. And 2 hours of my night was just spent scrolling on Twitter about this Mary Kate Cornett person.
I mean, this is one of the most unbelievable stories
Did you see
that
it?
I've ever heard in my life. Oh, I've seen it. If social media wasn't at the stage it's at now, I don't know that we would have heard this kind of story ever, but it's just so amplified and has evolved so much that, a story like this can go viral so quickly. Do we know what's true and not true? I don't know. I've heard the rumors of it. Has anybody come out and confirmed it? Apparently, there's screenshots. I haven't seen any screenshots. Brian, why don't you tell
There's
the people what we're
pictures
talking
of
about?
Snapchat chats. That's like what's going viral. It's not even the screenshots. It's the
That's
pictures.
yeah. That's like what we're getting.
But yeah, Jack, back in the day, fraternity drama used to stay, I guess Greek life drama used to stay on Yik Yak. And now it's populating Twitter. They need to bring back Yik Yak.
Yeah, I don't have much to say on that situation.
For everybody wondering, this college girl cheated on her boyfriend with her boyfriend's dad.
Apparently, like 40 other people too.
Oh, didn't know about the 40 other, but the big takeaway is cheating on your boyfriend with your boyfriend's father is just unbelievable.
Yeah, he did. The father did win Cracker of the Day from Antonio Brown.
I was gonna say that's a real G move by the dad. If we're being honest, I'm gonna assume
That's where you're going.
Yeah,
that's your angle
that's
on
my
all
spin.
this.
That's my spin. If my
Real
dad,
G mood.
actually, I'm not gonna say it like this because I'm not
You're
gonna let
nuts.
you clip me. I'm not gonna let
You
you
already
clip me.
did say it.
You already did
But-
get clipped.
No. But this is about to be worse. But listen, like if the dad in this situation is able to pull like this beautiful girl he's got at least 20 years on. First of all, shout out Pops. Second of all, he's saving
Probably
me
got
from
30
this.
years on her.
Yeah, right. Second of all, he's saving me from this chick who is, if she's gonna cheat on me, I didn't know about the 40 other people, but like you're gonna cheat on me with my dad, like I don't even know who you're gonna cheat on me, with. So I think it's just a real G move by Pops right here.
Yeah, the problem though is apparently I think this kid's name's Evan. He's still with her, and he's known about the past escapades.
Yeah, that's
Please clip
close.
Jack being the only one that's heard of the story being on the father's side.
That's
Please.
gross. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, this kid sucks.
Please.
Yeah, he's in denial.
I've never seen this angle or take of everything I've seen.
I'm
Of somebody being like, "Yo, dog, the dad's a boss."
Yo, I saw the girl, man. That's a nice pull.
What do you think, Ty?
Wow,
You think his age or her body counts higher?
Lord have
Probably the
mercy.
age. Probably the age. Could be close. I don't know.
It's probably
I
very
really
close.
hope it's his age.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but SEC burner accounts won the week.
See,
Yeah, it's good.
I'm not getting you.
I don't think we need to dig much deeper.
Yeah, my winner of the week, I feel like I don't even need to have one after the craziness that we just heard, but was going to jump kind of just on, and again, slow sports week, but jump on my feature that I gave out of the Pistons to make the playoffs at plus 1160 because they're currently on a 7 game win streak and primed to make the playoffs outright as the 6th seed. They're not even going to have to worry about the 7, 8, 9, 10 seed of a play-in game. This might be a sweat-free plus 1160. They have like 4 or 5 game lead on that 7 spot, and they're currently on a 7 game win streak. So the Detroit Pistons are my winner of the week.
Yeah.
For as much as we talk smack on the NBA and say it's the dumbest league ever, our future bets we do in our roundtable every year before the season have been pretty good.
I've been pretty spot on. I mean, plus 1160, that's one of the longer odds that I've given out that is looking to hit pretty much sweat-free. I mean, barring a major collapse, which very well could happen, they're looking primed, and Cade Cunningham's a beast.
And that's just to make the playoffs, right?
Just make the playoffs.
So,
Plus
yeah.
1160. I mean, they were picked to finish like as where the Sixers are right now.
Yeah, that's a lock.
Do you see Cade Cunningham's new
Knock
nickname?
on wood.
Now, what's he got rocking with now?
They're calling him the Paradox.
I did not see that.
Not everybody needs a nickname, man.
Yeah, just Cade Cunningham works for me.
I was cool calling Wemby the alien because bro does look like an alien from every movie ever. But Cade Cunningham, I mean, Cade's a cool enough name, man. Why you need another one?
Yeah, Cade, CC. Whatever Brian just said is like.
I mean, they're calling him the Paradox.
I'm out on
And
that.
everyone's responding, why is he called the Paradox? And every response to that is it's a paradox.
Dude, so stupid. Jack, what's your loser of the week, dude?
Well, Matt, I'm drinking, so I actually didn't bring you a loser. I brought you 2 winners. Did you guys see the McNeese State? Yes, your McNeese State Cowboys. Yeah. Did you see their team manager walking out of the tunnel, Devo style, with the boombox, rapping with the players?
Was he the one who made that song?
That's a phenomenal question. I don't know. I think
he might have, because he took the podium before Will Wade, so they were like asking him questions after the game.
Dude, like that song was pretty fire. If that's the manager's song, and like dude, yes, I saw the video. I immediately thought it was his song as well. But yeah,
actually,
maybe the gimmick they need to make a Final Four run.
Or that would make sense for an artist name.
I don't know if it was his song because like there was the N-word in the song, and when that hopped on, he like didn't say it. So like I don't
know. I just like thought it was maybe
could have been featuring someone.
Yeah, well, maybe he made the beat. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Either way, this dude was electric, and you got to watch that tunnel video. That was awesome.
It totally was, and maybe that's the gimmick they need.
So it is not his song.
Okay. But still a good gimmick just in time for a March run.
Amir Khan. Where did I get cash from?
Fair enough. Brian, your loser of the week before I fall asleep.
I don't really know what to make this loser headline, but I think it's just me for digging this deep into this or maybe me for not knowing this existed. Safety bags are a thing now in college baseball.
Safety bags?
Yeah, so there's first base is essentially 2 bags. One for the fielder and one for the runner.
I don't hate that at all.
Yeah, so Florida, our good friends at Florida, were playing Stetson the other day, and it was 2-1 in the 7th inning, and Stetson catcher hit a little chopper to the shortstop. To tie the game, he drove in a run and was called safe at first. Instead of allegedly the checks and balances you're supposed to go through is if you think the runner stepped on the fielder's bag, you're supposed to appeal to first. And if you win that appeal, obviously it's out. Same thing as like in the MLB, if you think a guy goes early on a tag up. Apparently the Florida manager asked for a replay, which he wasn't supposed to do. He's supposed to ask for an appeal after the Stetson catcher allegedly stepped on the fielder's bag, and he was called out. But there's a whole thing right now, and the game's under protest because I think he stepped on the safety bag. But the umpire said after review he stepped on the fielder's bag, and Stetson lost the game.
When you say under protest, is it like not final right now?
It went final. Florida won, but it's under protest, and the NCAA will examine the situation and determine whether the umpires got the call right. If they did, the result will stand. If they did not, the result becomes null, and the two teams will resume the game from the point of the incident. So it'd be 2-2 in the
Wow.
seventh.
I just want
That'd
to
be
see the resuming of the game just to have that happen.
Yeah,
that's trash, man. They're just hating on the little school right now. Shout out Stetson.
Jacob DeGrom school.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say loser because they have the safety bag, and I was like, dude, as they get used to it, I think it should be in the MLB too. I know it might not be aesthetically pleasing, but
Yeah, it makes
and I
sense.
don't know
Yeah,
how
I
many
don't.
injuries happen at first base, but there's a decent amount, dude, that where it's like can at least probably save a couple injuries per year on a pitcher cover in the bag, your big money first baseman. I mean, I would love there to be an extra bag there so people aren't running at Bryce Harper's ankle.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I mean, being on the opposite side of the one who didn't want to switch things, hearing that is off the rip is a little why are we doing that? But I've played with safety bags. They are a great addition to the game, so I'm happy they're doing that. I don't like how we're appealing. Oh, you stepped partially on my bag, like
Yeah, well,
that's
that's where Brian actually went with it. That these guys are peeling shit and hating on the little guy, dude.
Yeah, it was.
that part's ridiculous. I mean, it's you can usually tell pretty clearly if you're trying to hinder the first baseman or the pitcher, whoever's covering the bag, or if you're far out enough. It's usually pretty easy to tell. I think that this is a little ridiculous that you can actually review that and call a guy out.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it was me for not knowing this existed, or if it's Florida for seemingly, or if it's the umpires because they may have gotten this call wrong. But on the freeze frame of the thing, it looks like the runner stepped in between the two. And from my baseball knowledge, the tie goes to the runner. So give it to him.
Also, what I can tell you is that is probably like the hardest you're running in baseball, period, is when you like hit a ground ball and you're busting ass to first base. So if your 6-inch wide foot is a couple inches one way or another and partially over the bag, like, are we serious?
Yeah,
That's
I don't think it should
terrible.
matter. I think the safety bag is just that like extra relief. But like I didn't know there was like if you
Yeah,
hit the fielder's bag, then it's a problem. I don't think that should be the case. I just think have the extra length so that it's there, so that there is a little more. I'm sorry, Villanova's down 13 to Seton Hall right now as they're
I
on the
took
bubble
Seton
of
Hall
trying
plus 7.5.
to make the point. Villanova hasn't scored a point since 9 minutes left in the first half. There's 40 seconds left in the first half. They haven't scored a point since 9 minutes left. There's 40 seconds left. They just got a foul. They'll get points on the free throw, you would think. But I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted to watch this slop of a team that I've never seen a more bipolar team in my life. Anyway, we can
Kyle
continue
Neptune
with winners and
experience.
losers. That's your weekly Villanova update that I know people tune in for, and they are down 13 on the road at a 7-20 Seton Hall team, 2-14 in the Big East. Yep, that's the bipolar you get with this team. All
Hey,
right,
Seton Hall did beat UConn.
who cares?
Finish it off, Maddie.
Could be the fucking Wildcats, but I'll go with the Packers GM submitting the ban proposal on the tush push. This has been a evolving issue for the rest of the league where it's like just shut up and run the play yourself. I mean, Sirianni said it best at the press conference. He's like, we work hard on this play. We work hard to perfect this play and execute this play at a high level. So the fact people just want to get rid of it because they can't combat or stop our hard work and effort that we put into the play, they're allowed to run the play. They can do the play. The reason it works so well for the Eagles is because they work hard at it. They know how to run it well. And that's what makes the play so great is because it's them doing it at the highest level to the best of their abilities. They put in the work and they get it done. And then you just see these teams get killed on it year after year, bitch and moan, whine, complain, put in, I guess, proposals to have it banned. And if they ever do, the league will be considered soft for the rest of the time.
Yeah, I would hate for them to ban this play.
And to be fair, if they did, I don't think
You would hate for them to ban the play?
I would, because I don't like the precedent sense it sets where we're trying to
It sets
ban,
yeah.
like we're trying to ban, like that is a legal play. I will say this very clearly right here right now. I hate the play. It is the ugliest thing to watch. It's worse than the kickoffs. I'd rather watch a touchback than the fucking tush push. It is so annoying. Doesn't look like football. I've hated on it enough. I don't like it. I don't like watching it. Whatever. But to take that away from a team who's executing it well, just because they're executing it well, like I don't know.
I mean, that literally would be the reason.
Have
It's
we
like
seen a
nobody
ton
can
of
stop it.
right? I mean, have we seen a ton of injuries happen from it?
Not at all.
If that's the reason, then okay, maybe I understand we take it away. But if it's just because people can't stop it and it looks ugly, like I don't think that's a good enough reason.
I don't even think it's ugly. It's literally because nobody can stop it.
Well, you're a fan of the Eagles and you see them and it's successful, so I understand you like it. But as a non-Eagles fan,
Well, I
I think
appreciate
that it's
them
the
implementing
ugliest.
something that's legal and they work hard to execute it the best. Other teams
Yes,
can
and I
try and do it. The film is there. They have
no,
the film. You
I'm
see what
not.
they're
I'm
doing.
not. Again, and that's why I think it would be bad if they banned it. I'm not arguing any of that. I'm just saying, as an NFL fan, watching games, watching film, it's like the ugliest thing to watch that I've seen since I've started watching football.
Yeah, excuse my French, but fuck that play, dude. I don't care if it's banned. What? I don't care about a precedent. Frankie Louvu did the right thing by jumping over and making it a joke. It's a joke play. It's overpowered, and they're good at it. Make them get rid of it. Do
Well, the
what you can.
Jaguars.
You can't stop it, so try to tell them like, "Hey, this is a joke. We're just gonna jump over." I've been since they started doing that. Every time I get drunk watching football, I've been clamoring for the D tackle just to shove the center.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah. I
just
mean,
light
look,
them up before the play starts. Make them not want to run it.
I think that that's what Luvu was intending to do, and in not such a big spotlight, I think he would have kept doing it. Not giving them
Yeah.
whatever
Make the ref make them score to make it even more of a joke. Like have the ref say, "Hey, it's a touchdown because of unnecessary roughness." Like if you can't stop it, try to find every way possible to get the NFL to ban it. I love
right.
this.
And I can understand that you don't do it in an NFC Championship game. It is, again, I don't like it. It's an ugly play to watch, but like if your only reason is because it's overpowered, as you said, like that's not a good enough reason. It's got to be because people are getting hurt, or honestly, that's it. Like even my reasoning of I hate watching this. It's ugly. It doesn't look like football. I'd rather see a running play to Saquon or a pass to AJ Brown. Like I'd rather see that kind of stuff. That's not a good enough reason to ban this.
I know it's a little bit different, but should they ban the QB sneak?
No.
But how much different is it? Like, what don't you like about this play
It's
specifically? That's
it's so good.
Well, what I don't like
like,
about it,
that's just the
what I don't
worst.
like about it
You're
is
not
that
It's
helping your
not the worst
case.
reasoning. Like my
what
whole thing, I'm
It's
not
so
saying
good,
it's
so
the
ban it, dude. That's like you
yeah.
sound like a clown.
yeah.
I'm fine with that. That's my whole thing. Like, I know it's good. I know it shouldn't be banned because they perfected it. But if you can't stop it, you might as well make it a joke so the NFL has to ban it. That's the only way you're going to get them to stop running the play.
I'd like to point out that the Jaguars did stop it twice in their game this year against the
And they
Eagles.
still lost by like
We
15.
Actually, they came back
It
and
was
made
a
it way
competitive game,
close.
Brian. Shut
No,
up.
it wasn't for a while, but they came back at the end to make it close.
It was
Ish.
it was a competitive-ish game. But we did stop the tush push twice, so like it's not unstoppable.
It's not. And you
But
saw when guys on the Eagles get rotated around and a guy goes down with injury, like sometimes the play is stoppable. It's just they put the pieces up front. Landon Dickerson's a unit.
look, the
Like,
reason I think it's
Vailotta's a unit. Like,
the reason
go
I think
get
it's so
yourself
ugly
some
is because
tanks on the
you just
O-line.
got all these guys diving at the floor, and then you got a couple of other guys coming. I mean, look, everybody's seen the play. You just dive at the floor. You have everybody come from behind, and you just push. Like it looks like rugby, not football. And like again, that's not a good enough reason for me to ban it. Hate it, but I don't think they should ban it for that.
Ryan's literally put Brian on a graphic and say, it's so good, that's why you have to ban it. Brian
Yeah.
on the tush push. Brian on the tush push.
Find a way to ban it. And that's what Frankie Louvu and
Whatever,
everyone's
man.
doing.
Well, I think they need. Does everybody have to vote on it, or how would that even come to fruition? Like that, like
I think you need 24 out of 32 owners to sign off.
yeah, and that's I don't think gonna happen. Is it owners or GMs vote on it?
I think owners and the PA. Isn't that how everything works? The NFLPA and then the owners, they have to vote on it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just we've seen this before, though, right? Like teams in the past have brought up proposals to the league, and it goes nowhere. So you can keep whining with the rest of them, Brian. The tush push
I
is here
am
to
going to keep
stay,
whining.
and it's here to stay.
Well, you see, Matt, that's the other thing is I think that come next season, with the Eagles being Super Bowl champs, Frankie Louvu is just the start of it. There are going to be some players that just go over the top and are like,
And good.
but Matt,
I
you say
applaud
that
you for attempting
you say
to
that
try and.
you say that until Jalen Hurts is getting speared every single game on an untimed play, like ball's not even snapped yet, and he's getting a concussion because somebody's diving over the center on top of him. Like that's gonna happen eventually if they don't stop it.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Yep. Just
That's
blow
all
up
I
the
have
center
for.
every play.
Yeah, blow up the center replay. That's
Brian's
Brian.
like, just shoot him.
Honestly,
Shoot the center, bro.
shoot his knees.
Dude.
Marvin the
Whatever.
Martian brought a gun onto the field in Space Jam. Do the same in the NFL.
Yeah,
We don't condone this.
Guns
We
in
do not
pro
condone
sport.
this.
Guns in pro sports are too much of a common thing that it needs to not be.
Yeah, it's true. Take notes, John. John stayed away from the guns this year.
He's been behaving himself this year for the most part.
Give him some credit.
To give him some credit, he's been added like the national headlines and spotlight. But yeah, that's the winners and losers of the week. Are we jumping into an ALS preview or are we shutting it down there?
Since Nick's article isn't out yet, let's just predict who wins this division.
That's fine. We don't have to go through it. If you want the ALS preview, which this could be one of the worst in baseball.
Previews and divisions.
Check. Yeah. Yeah, right on par. Go check out Nick's over on viewsfromsection400.com whenever it comes out. But we do have look, dude, I think the Astros are still primed to be the team to beat. If Jacob deGrom stays healthy, the Rangers will be there. The Mariners have the best rotation of this division, but did nothing to add to their lineup. I mean, Victor Robles, I think, was their star signing of the offseason. And the Angels are basically a triple A lineup without, besides Mike Trout. So the most interesting team is the Athletics, I think. They added a bunch of veteran guys and have a bunch of young guys. I mean, people forget Brett Roker. I don't know if he'll do what he did last year, but last year he was an elite superstar. The guy batted .296. He had 112 RBI and had 39 home runs. That is elite superstar level performance. Is he going to do it this year? Let's wait to be seen. But they have him slotted right there to sit at the top of the lineup. They added a Gio Urshela and then a couple other pitchers as well. Luis Severino, Jeffrey Springs from the Rays could be a sneaky addition for them on the pitching staff. I think the A's will surprise some people this year.
Lawrence Butler,
and Lawrence Butler slotted to potentially lead off for them. We all hate on the Astros. I think they probably still win this division. Jose Altuve to lead up. Isaac Paredes will be there. Yordan Alvarez. They added Christian Walker, which I don't think a lot of people remember. Jeremy Pena is still there to maybe hunker down the 6-hole. I think the division's wide open for sure, but the Astros aren't going anywhere just yet.
I agree, but I can't speak. It's been a long day. The Rangers. I like the Rangers. If Jacob deGrom, if you could get 20 starts out of Jacob deGrom and Corey Seager can stay on the field, don't sleep on Jake Berger. Might get a 50-burger out of Jake Berger in home runs this year. Finally on a good team. He was hitting a lot of home runs with the Marlins, and that lineup it's pretty much a Soulberry Spiders lineup. Shout out to Soulberry Spiders. But Jake Berger has some protection now.
Yeah.
For fun, I'll give out the Athletics. Bang! Watch them go win the division.
Okay.
It's a major Moneyball team this year. Major Moneyball team.
I think that this is like last year, sort of. I guess last year the Rangers weren't really in it towards the end, but I think this, like last year, is going to be a three-dog race between Astros, Mariners, and Rangers. And I'm kind of pissed I let Brian go first there because I also am going to give you the Rangers here. I think if they stay healthy, they have the best team in this division. And even though the Mariners might have the best pitching staff, I think like Matt, like you said, they didn't do anything to add to that lineup. It's going to be tough to win games strictly off of pitching. And then, I know the Astros won this division last year, but no more Bregman. Correa's not there anymore. Altuve's getting old. I don't know what they really have there from like their World Series team, their dynasty days. I feel like they're all getting older onto new teams. So I like the Rangers, man.
Well, the Astros three-headed monster this year is going to be Altuve, Yordan Alvarez, and
Yeah.
Christian Walker. That's
Alvarez.
going to be that's going to be their three-headed monster, and then you'll have is it Jeremy Pena at like the 6 hole. So that'll be where they'll try and get their runs from. Pitching staff's okay. I mean, Framber Valdez at the top is great. Raniel Blanco last year was very good. But it kind of falls off at the end. Like the anchor right now is Hayden Wesniewski, who I think had a 5 or 6 ERA with the Cubs last year. So look, are the Athletics going to win it? Probably not. But shit, man, they're going to be a fun team to watch. I think it's a lot of young guys. Zach Galoff, Jacob Wilson, JJ Bleday, still only 26. Shea Langoliers is, I feel like he's been a prospect for a couple of years now and hasn't quite panned out, but he'll be there. And then Brett Roker, they're superstars. So pitching staff probably needs to be a little bit of work, but I just feel like the A's with no pressure and this kind of team. Gio Urshela in the 8 hole, like that's a guy who could hit 290 this year just because nobody's fucking paying attention. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of question marks on guys who could sneak, and the rest of the division's not that good. Like, how much worse is that Athletics lineup from the Mariners lineup or the Astros lineup or you're telling me when they play all these series, it's that much worse? So I think it's a mix of the division isn't spectacular, and the A's have veteran guys mixed with young prospects who could surprise some people. For fun, I'll give you Athletics. If I had to pick one of the three-headed monsters, I'd go Astros.
As I'm thinking about just the state of baseball, I really didn't think that many old Mets were still around. But again, we get Luis Severino in this division and Luis Guillorme on the Astros. So I'm kind of rooting for the Astros. Mets play the Astros on opening day. That's a whole other rant in itself. But they'll lose 3 games to start off the year. Because of that, I'm going with the Rangers.
Yeah, and I for some reason I thought Victor Robles was an ex-Met, but he spent all of his career up until this point with the Nationals.
Yeah.
It just seemed like an ex-Met kind of guy.
Yeah, he's very like Juan Lagares, Colin Cowgill in that same realm of center fielders.
Yeah, but look, he's a guy batted 290 last year, speedy leadoff guy. But that's pretty much their big addition to the lineup.
Yeah, the Mariners kind of stink. They got to build around Julio Rodriguez.
Their rotation is great, but their lineup is not going to do anything.
Why'd they get rid of Ty France? He was a good player.
He for them he was, but he's gonna. Where did we say he was going? What was the last division we did?
The Central. Which team was he on?
Was it the Reds?
He seems like a Guardian.
Or Guardians? I don't know. He went to one of those teams. He's probably going to bat in the bottom of that lineup. When he was on the Mariners, he was at the top of the lineup.
Twins. Yeah, he'll be at the bottom.
Yeah, bottom, like 8-hole guy.
I like Ty.
When he was like the 3-hole guy on the Mariners.
Well, I mean, they were bad. They're still bad.
I know.
They just got Luis Castillo.
Let's see if I can pull it up here really quick. It'll be Victor Robles, Julio Rodriguez, the switch hitting beast Cal Raleigh, who will bat 210, but hopefully hit 35 home runs for them. Randy Arozarena.
Here's a really ugly. They traded for him.
Yeah, he'll bat the 4-hole. Luke Raley, who is like this big beast of a guy that can barely hit 25 home runs a year. Mitch Garver is supposed to be their DH. Jorge Polanco coming off his worst year ever. Demo, Dylan Moore, who just is the most average guy. And then ex-Philly, J.P. Crawford is going to hold down the shortstop position. But again, just because it needs to be said, Luis Castillo, dog. Logan Gilbert, beast. George Kirby, I think a little bit of a question mark. We'll see what he can do. Bryce Miller, beast. Brian Wu, beast. I mean, that rotation is arguably the best in baseball.
Logan Gilbert could be. I know I said this about Colt Reagans in the last podcast, but Logan Gilbert on Cy Young Sleeper Watch, he probably has great odds. I like Logan Gilbert.
Yeah, I do too. But yeah, that's all I have for the AL West. I'm not going to go through everyone like we said. If you want a more in-depth analysis, views from section400.com. Our guy Nick is doing 6 divisions in 3 weeks. Also, by the way, Otani's spring debut is Friday.
Yeah, so is Brandon Sproats. I'll be watching that.
And I continue to bring it into existence. The Mets rotation is crumbling in front of our eyes, and it's continuing to happen.
It's the reason I mentioned Brandon Sproat, because I knew that's where you were going next. Don't sleep. I know I've chatted on Florida this whole podcast, but Brandon Sproat's going to be good.
Shout out Florida.
Yep. That's all I got. It's Matt, Future Section 400, Jack and Brian. Always along for the ride. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Please fire Kyle Neptune.
Janai Broom minus 125 for net. Oh my God. Janai Broom minus 125 for National Player of the Year.
Brian, go to sleep.